Hey, welcome to The Book and His Boss. I'm Pat Caputo, sports columnist for the Oakland Press. This is my boss, Jeff Kuehn, the man who keeps me in line. If you have any complaints, call him, not me, because he's the one who can take care of you, and he will take care of you. He does a terrific job.
Jim will put the phone number across the screen there, right?
Call Jeff Kuehn with your complaints. There we go. There we go. But anyway, obviously this is the golden time of sports in Detroit, and at the forefront right now are the Red Wings. I wrote this week that the Red Wings, this is their best chance to win the Cup since 2002, because this is the best team they have. And you know who doesn't get enough credit for that, in my opinion, Jeff, and I respect yours about hockey, especially, what do you think about Mike Babcock? I think he's been a terrific coach for them in the playoffs.
I don't know him personally, but just interviewing him and so forth, seeing his energy, I mean, he makes you want to suit up. Of course, you do anyway. But you
and I suit up with a bunch of old guys like us.
I know, but his energy, it carries over. He's always talking positive, always talking being on the forecheck, always talking about having to play in the other team's zone. Who wouldn't want to play for this guy?
You know, there was a game last week they played, and he mentioned the goaltending. They beat Colorado at Joe Louis, one of the early two games. I forget if it was game one or game two. And he said, look, our goaltenders, and he mentioned Hasek. That was really smart, because if Hasek has to come back in, right, he's already let that in. So injury, something happens, right, where he goes to him, and his decision to pull Hasek and go with Osgood when he did was perfect. And playing McCarty instead of Aaron Downey, he's done a lot of different things that have really come through. When he put Helm in there, all of a sudden, he's done terrific.
But he's all about energy, and he's always about, we're going to dictate what we do, not the other team. And I like that, just that style of play that we're going to attack, and it's a player's type of coach, I think.
And by the way, Pavel Datsyuk, Henrik Zetterberg, they've really emerged. They've got a high plus-minus number in the playoffs. They've been every bit as good as Crosby and Malkin. They've been every bit as good as Joe Thornton. They've been every bit as good as Kovalev, any of these other players that people mention in the playoffs.
You know, it was great the other night because they were head-to-head with Forsberg, Sakic, and I'm not sure the third guy on that top line. Haydu. Head-to-head. And Zetterberg, Datsyuk, and Holmstrom ate them up.
You can't get the puck away from them. They carry play. Forwards are hesitant to break out against them. They're always worried about the forecheck and turnovers. And you know what else is really good and doesn't get enough credit? Nobody talks about Nicholas Lidstrom. He's still a great player. But Rafalski. Right. Rafalski is better than Matthew Schneider. And I thought they were taking maybe a step down in a certain way.
It's not a surprise during that losing streak the Wings had is the time that Rafalski was out. And I think a lot is credited to that issue.
And you can see that playoff experience. Speaking of teams that are resurgent, how about the Tigers? I mean, can everybody put the panic button away now? Can we get rid of that? I mean, even Jason Grilly's out of town now.
Oh, boy.
And the Grill Master's gone. The gas can. But he actually was pitching pretty well when he got rid of him. I may have wondered why. He wasn't pitching well. But the Tigers, Curtis Granderson's come back, even getting some starting pitching performances from Bonderman and Rogers lately. I like what I've seen from the Tigers. They're almost 500 now.
I think Granderson deserves a lot of credit for what he does in that one spot. Catalyst gets things started, and since that 0-7 start, they're what, 13-8?
Yeah.
So,
but there's one key factor, Jeff, that people realize. They're still second from the bottom in pitching. They got to pitch better than that, and they're third from the top in hitting. So I think eventually they might go to the top in hitting, and if their pitching goes to the middle of the pack, watch out.
Right.
Because they're going to take off.
Pitching's coming.
Yeah, what do they do with Galarraga, though? They bring back Dontrell Willis and they're going to send this guy back? I don't think that's real popular with their fans.
Yep.
So, but anyway, Tigers. And then one of the things we talked about a lot in our previous book in The Bosses was about Roger Clemens and should he go into the Hall of Fame and this whole steroids thing. But this thing about the 15-year-old country singer, I'll tell you what, his star has really lost a lot of his luster in my mind, because I thought he was the consummate man's man, and all of a sudden you're starting to see a lot of things happen that make you wonder. Now, I don't know how much of this is true, or the steroids thing, but it kind of makes you wonder when you see that much smoke, how much fire is actually there.
I'll tell you what, Jim puts my phone number across right about here for complaints and so forth. Pat has the vote for Hall of Fame, and I want that same email address, Pat Caputo at oakpress.com.
No, Jim Hawkins has one too. Jim Hawkins and Steve Repko, by the way. People don't know that, but Steve Repko has one. In 9 years, he'll have one.
No Hall of Fame for Roger Clemens. No Hall of Fame for Barry Bonds. That's my take. Always has been. You know, I'm sticking to it. And this is just more proof.
But are there any heroes anymore? I mean, honestly, Roger Clemens is turning out to be a louse.
Tiger Woods.
You know what Tiger Woods is? If something, I really admire Tiger Woods. If something happens with him, and by the way, he's coming to the PGA at Oakland Hills, that should be terrific. Boy, we can't wait for that. But boy, we got a lot before that coming up in the world of sports. What a great place to be. And don't forget to check out the Oakland Press, the print edition, theoaklandpress.com. And of course, you're on that, our website. And you can check out my columns. Jeff writes some great columns too. Sunday, his Sound Off columns does a terrific job. Jim Hawkins, Dave Burkett, our Lions beat writer, Paula Patch does the Big Ten. And let's not forget the Scooter. Dana Garuder does a great job with the Pistons. And of course, we always appreciate Bruce McLeod's contribution on the Red Wings as well. And don't forget about Keith Dunlap. Spring sports is going on. We got lots of prep coverage. So check us out. And don't forget the Real American Idol. They're down to 4, and it should be 5. James Martinez, the man behind the camera. We'll talk to you next week.